I put my click on, I put my bitch on. Why y'all hating on me? I can't get on.
What it do, good people? Welcome back. It's good to see y'all. Happy 4th of July. I hope everybody has a great holiday. And beyond that, I hope everybody finishes out the year strong. We got about 5 more months left. But in these next 5 months, we can do a lot. Now, as y'all know, lately y'all been tapping into my channel. I've been telling y'all about things I've learned along the way in my journey thus far. So, one thing I want to bring up to you guys that I've learned is that self-sabotage is real. A lot of situations I look back on where I felt like the person was wrong or the person possibly misstepped or mistreated the situation. Once I got through the healing portion, got past the hurt, got past the confusion, I was also able to see my mistakes after that. Normally in a relationship, everybody think it's one-sided, but it takes two to tango, no matter how you look at it. If it's a sexual relationship going bad, if it's an intimate relationship going bad, it doesn't matter. It takes two people to tango. So when a relationship goes wrong, it's seemingly as if it's one person, or it seems as if it's a one-party responsibility situation. But somewhere along the line, at some point, if you keep digging further enough, you will see your faults in the situation. So the faults in the situation that I seen is I didn't realize when I was getting special treatment. It didn't even register to me. You know, a lot of good things that was happening to me in relationships that ended up going bad. I was receiving king treatment, if you will. But I didn't see it like that. And I ended up pushing for more, and I ended up overworking the other person. And it took me a minute to realize that. And once I peeped game, I'm like, wait, you telling me I'm the one who sabotaged my king treatment? Now, certain relationships I wasn't responsible for ending. Let me make that clear. But in all my relationships, I could look back on the times where either where it was in the beginning or midway, but I could reflect on the times where I was getting that king treatment that I was pushing for. And that's why as men, it's important to heal from our mother wounds, because what we'll end up doing is suffocating our intimate partner and putting pressure on them that they shouldn't be bearing. And when they finally break, the only thing we can do is continue to put the weight on them and continue to make them bear the load and bear the responsibility of such things. Now, me knowing that, I didn't beat myself up. I realized the game and I said, okay, this is what I have to work with. This is how the situation went. This is how it played out. And that's when I realized, like, dude, I didn't get treated as crazy as I assumed or as I was projecting. I really thought I was getting mishandled and mistreated. And I was for a degree, but for the most part, I did get that king treatment as well. I was just so hurt and traumatized with mother wounds and family wounds that I wasn't able to pick up on the cues and thus further legitimizing and stabilizing that king treatment. So I ended up causing too much pressure and I ended up overwhelming my intimate spouse. Does that make me a bad person? No, just like it doesn't make them a bad person for doing the things that they thought was best for them. You can't judge people, especially if you love them. And now that I'm healed and I love God and I'm in a closer position with myself, I can honestly say I see why all of those women left. I can see why they all said, I need to find better, because, men, this is what we got to learn. Women don't get with you because you want to be with them. Women get with you when they see that you have a relationship with yourself. And all the women that I came across, they saw me taking care of myself. The mistake I made was when I got into the relationship, I started to pour everything into them. Attention, focus, time, responsibility, desire, demand. I started to pour it all on them, and I started to take the pressure off myself. And that would require anybody to leave because the circumstances changed. You see what I'm saying? They got with me because they saw me working out, they saw me praying, they saw me on my Bible, they saw me on my stuff. Now, whether they had good intentions, it's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother lesson. But what were they attracted to? Yes, my looks, but also my drive, my tenacity, my forward success, and my potential in life. That's what attracted them the most and made them want to be in an exclusive relationship with me. Now, the mistake I made was not capitalizing on that and putting all the weight, putting all the attention, putting all the pressure on them. So I don't blame them for leaving. I don't blame me for them leaving. What I blame is it's too early. There's a lot of things I didn't know. There's a lot of ignorance. And what I blame is trauma. We all trauma bonded and we all went through things and we all thought that dealing with one another would be an improvement and a slight way escape from what we had been dealing with. It's nobody's fault. It's only human to look for a pressure relief valve when you're under a lot of pressure. So I don't fault them. And I take my responsibility in the situations as well. Another thing I learned along the way is you are going to be the one responsible when God comes around and he's checking to see what you're up to. He's calling you in the Garden of Eden. God is walking amidst your garden and he's saying, XYZ, whatever your name is, so-and-so, where are you? And a lot of times we're caught up in the world. So we can't even answer God as to where we are, even though he knows where we are. But that inability to connect with him right then and there shows where we're actually at with ourselves and with God. And you're gonna have to be the one to bear that. No matter what no one has came and told you, no matter what advice someone has gave you, no matter what guidance you've been under, once you stop being credited as a kid in the spirit, you're solely responsible for all the decisions you make. That could be either a good or a bad thing. Now, some of us has been so busy and wrapped up in building relationships, we forgot to build one with ourselves. So we don't even know who we are. We don't even know what we like. That's a great place to start because then, at least, what you can do is shave off excess opinions. It's going to be a time in your life when you come from the position of always wanting validation. When you come from the position of always wanting friends, always wanting love because you didn't have that. Or you didn't have it in a way that you thought you should have had it coming up. When you're in that position, you're gonna be, when you move on from that position finally, you're gonna be stuck with the echoes of everything everyone has told you. It's up to you to clear that echo chamber and get to the point where it's just you and God's voice. When you get to that point, then you're gonna see the reality of all your situations. And the reality of it is, depending on the situation, most of the times we had a part to play in it too. Most of the times we seen it coming a mile away and chose not to act and chose to have hope and chose to push beyond what was necessary. So a lot of times when we disregard what God is telling us, we find ourselves in a worse position. And then we try to blame God for that. I was a prime example of that. All the situations I've been in, I prayed to be in so that I could learn from them. But I didn't know what I was praying for. And I didn't know that I had to pray for the strength to endure it and the endurance to keep the wisdom and the understanding of what I'm doing as I'm enduring it. So along the way, I would forget what the heck is going on, and I would start begging God, abort mission. But that's not how war works. That's not how life works. You can't just go to class and then opt out of class when you feel like it. I mean, you can, but there's penalties for that. And there's penalties for that in my life. You know, I had to pay for asking for lessons and then walking out of class mid-lesson. I had to pay for that. And I'm not mad that I had to pay for that, but I'm not gonna sit up here and be prideful about it either. I'm glad that I went through it, and I'm glad that I finally extracted the lessons. Also, although you're gonna be responsible for listening to people or not listening to people, there's always a recovery period. That's one thing a lot of people miss. They don't understand that in the spirit, there is a recovery period where you can repent, turn from your ways. Now, how long that recovery period lasts is between you and God. I can't say it depends on what you did. It depends on how bad and how intense. I don't know. It's per person. So you just know, though. A lot of people don't know you have a recovery period after you make mistakes. I thought my image was important. I thought success was important. I thought having friends was important. And they all are important to a degree. but they all are never more important than God at any point under any circumstance. And it took me a while to learn that. And it took me a while to even know that that's what I was doing. I was placing people above God. And you know, that's a very human thing. It's a very human thing to place people above God when you're a genuine, big-hearted person. You don't understand that that's what you're doing. But there still are consequences for doing that. God made it very clear you can't put things before him. And when you do, you have to suffer the consequences, or you have to go through the consequences. Everybody thinks this is suffering. Sometimes the consequence isn't suffering. A lot of times when God came back around and gave me consequences for certain decisions, I actually got closer with God. Like, because it was like a joke between two best friends. It was the irony in the situation that made me laugh, because I was able to recognize, like, so this, okay, this the receipt and the payoff from this circumstance. Like, okay. And it's so crazy. I could recognize the circumstances I'm being punished for, or I'm going through consequences for, by what the consequence is. I'm able to quickly link it to the circumstance or instance in which earned me that consequence. And that's just, it comes with having a great relationship with God, you know. And it's a funny thing. It's entertaining, you know. When you can find yourself sitting back and looking at your life with God and laughing at certain things, then that's how you know you have a real relationship. Because trust me, bro, God isn't, think about it like this. What favor would it do God to create you and then damned you for the entirety of your creation? What will he get out of that? Don't that sound like evil? That's evil. That's like you having a baby, a child, and then you upbringing it, and you're beating it, you're torturing it, you're stunting its growth, you're not making sure it has the best outcome, you're not putting your best foot forward, you're not giving your all to the child, you're neglecting it, you're abusing it. Why would you do that? You don't have to have a kid. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? And so it may seem like that because we make so many of our own decisions. We get in so many situations, so many gems, and need God to save us, that while he's so busy saving us from the first one, we getting into another gem. And so we be thinking God ain't coming through, he ain't hearing us. But dog, if we slow down and realize that we moving too fast, we trying to do too much in a short little time, nothing's gonna get done. And it's not a crime. No one is demonized in God's eyes for being human. You know what I mean? It just comes a point in the relationship where God is like, okay, you know better. When are you going to do better? But he also understands that sometimes we could be so gripped up by that stronghold that it's almost impossible to get out. But that's why the love of God, the blood of Christ, is so necessary in our life. You see what I mean? So don't hesitate to build your relationship with God. It's the 4th of July. Enjoy your family. But try something different. When the fireworks going off, try to make a pact with yourself. Make a pact with your loved ones. And if you can't, make a pact with you and God and change your life. And when the fireworks go off, let the fireworks symbolize a new birth. I know no one's ever tried that. You know, everybody thinks turn up, celebrate, get drunk till you pass out, get so high till you pass out. But try this. Try planting the seed on the 4th of July and seeing what comes out of that. Try something different, man. I don't have all the answers, but I just wanted to give you guys that gem of a lesson that I learned along the way. And I'm glad you guys are tapping into my channel. I'm going to consistently keep these videos going. I can't make people do anything. I can't make people have a relationship with God. And for all I know, people may think I'm trying to change their religion. I'm not. Whatever religion you in, whatever beliefs you have them. Just follow them into accordance into what God said, bro. Religion is no different than a language. But a language is no different from being under the umbrella of communication. And communication is the flagship. So that's the same thing, bro. You can have whatever religion or experience you want, but God is universal. He has one message. Get to know him for yourself so he can tell you how to serve him. Even in the Bible, certain situations are parables and seeds to plant. They're not actual protocols for you to follow because those were different ages and different times. They're more so motivators and initiators for you to be on your way to having a fulfilling relationship with God and Jesus Christ. So take your time, get to know yourself, get to love yourself, because how you treat you is how you treat God.
Jigger, you owe me, I'm your one and
Don't let
only.
that toupee though, guys. Y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy the 4th. And you already know, it's not just how you live, it's how you lifestyle. Love you.
Jigger, you owe me, I'm your one and only. How come you got male best friends that ain't your homie?